might be a lazy live stream. Just let you know. Might be a lazy one. Make sure I'm decent here, I'm appropriate. So I won't take long today. I've heard some of you guys say, why are your videos so long? Why are they so long? It's because I have stuff to say, and it doesn't always come out in 5 minutes, but I hear you. So I'm at the beach. It's a holiday here, which is nice, but it's not a holiday for me. Otherwise, I do have work to do, so just enjoying a little blissful time here at the moment. But it's a holiday weekend, as I mentioned. It's also high season, which means there's a lot of people in town who don't live here, right, who are not normally from here. And when I say from here, I mean I'm not from here, but I live here. And something I notice from people who come to visit, or even from people who come and move here from other places, is that a lot of times people are, at least from my perspective, culturally insensitive or kind of culturally arrogant, and either expect that things are going to change to fit what they're used to, what they want, how they expect for life to go, you know, that it should match whatever the culture is like where they come from. And I think sometimes, from what I've seen, again, these are general terms, I'm not talking about everybody, but I do see this happen, that people will come from whatever other part of the world, so from Europe or from US or Canada or, you know, wherever, just someplace else typically. And I am typically, to be fair, I am typically talking about white people. I'm not trying to bash folks, but I'm just letting you know what I see, right? When you come to a country, you're welcome, Mr. Amazing, looks like, you're welcome. When you come to a country, especially a country where the people are different from you. I mean, we're all different from each other, right? But we're also very much the same. What I'm talking about is this is a black and brown country. And there are different mores and standards and customs and ways of doing things that, you know, they're, you know, very often not at all like what we're used to. And I used to complain about, oh gosh, you know, hey Dee Dee, I used to complain about like the efficiency or lack thereof when I first got here. I'm like, why are things so slow? And why do they do stuff, you know, in this way when it would, to me, make much more sense if they did it another way? Here's an example. So when I went, hey everybody, hi, thanks for saying hi and checking in. I'm taking a little time out today before I have to go to work. But an example of what I'm talking about is like when I go to the grocery store, and it still happens. Sometimes when I go to the grocery store, they have one of those big old machines. It reminds me of, remember ice skating rinks? And they'd have those big machines that would come out and like buff the ice to make it smooth after people skated. It's like one of those things, except it's, you know, it's a handheld one. And there's someone pushing it around the store, and it's big and bulky, one of those big gray bulky things. And they push it around in the middle of the day. Oh crap. Oh, sorry. They push it around in the middle of the day in the grocery store when people are trying to shop, and it's very awkward, and it's very much like, in my opinion, they should do that like after hours, before people come to the store or after they go home. Hi everybody, thanks for saying hi. But you know, it's not my grocery store, it's not my country, that's how they do it here, okay. And that's sort of a minor example, but for example, a different example, you know, people will come and they want to treat people, so foreigners will come here and they often want to treat the locals as less than, you know. I think a lot of these folks see, once again, I'm generalizing, but I do see sometimes people who come from different parts of the world and they treat, I was looking at that man walk by, they treat some of the local people as though they're only here to serve them, or they don't really have any other ability to do anything beyond that, beyond cook the food, clean the house, you know, tell them something that's going to be helpful to them. And I find that to be kind of annoying and really rather arrogant. You know, people come here, good morning everybody, hello. people come here from all over the world because it is beautiful and because we can live in a much more relaxed manner, especially now, these days, than people in many other parts of the world are able to do. But Dominican people and Haitian people and black and brown people the world over, despite what your experience may be, have a lot of capacity. I mean, let me not go back into the whole history of, from whence everything came, where a lot of things started, and how we really were. Thank you guys. Hi. I'm glad you appreciate the background. We have been historically leading the way quite often and showing other people how to survive, what foods to eat, how you, the bikini, I'm in it, but I'm not, I'm just chilling right now. How to coexist with nature, how to survive in difficult conditions, all kinds of things like that. And not just like nature and people out in the bush, so to speak. I mean, there have been feats of engineering and science and all kinds of things like that. And I don't necessarily see that other people who, when they come to these places to enjoy the beauty and the food and the people and all that, the women, all whatnot, that they really recognize that a lot of these people are as capable, if not more so, than anybody else they know, right? If the resources were put into truly educating black and brown people the world over, we would have the Teslas and the Elon Musks and the, you name it. Oh my goodness, a little lizard. It's a tiny little lizard just jumped out of nowhere, came and ate up this little tiny worm I didn't even see and scurried back away. That was kind of cool. So I couldn't catch that for you. But do you understand what I'm saying? I think there's a lot of people who, and again, this is not to implicate all white people or all foreigners from wherever you may be, all tourists. If the shoe fits, then check it out. If it doesn't, don't worry about it. But I'm telling you, I see this stuff. And, I know a lot of people here from all over the place who are kind, seemingly, from what I can tell, kind to everybody, and respectful and appreciative and treat like the local people well. But I also see folks come who, I think feel like the only purpose of Dominicans and, coming here is to have other people wait on you for cheap, or, like they don't have any sense other than, knowing how to clean the house really well. And they may even think that they do a bad job of that. And I just don't like that cultural insensitivity it's like a, what do they call it? Like it's a conscious gentrification, right? Like wanting to come here and change how things are. Because you think you know better, because you think the way where you came from was better than what is. Well, in a lot of cases where you came from got that way because of people like this who were here and, made things happen. I mean, I can talk about when I went to Paris 2 summers ago and did the Black Paris tour and how much of all Parisian art and architecture and on and on and on, a lot of their famous landmarks were at the very least inspired by, if not outright taken from, other cultures, right? You hear what I'm saying. And so I just would like to send out a little notice to people. Hi, everybody. Hey, Boris. A little kind of a missive here to any of you who may be thinking about coming to countries like this or who have been. And, you want to invest, you want to buy a house, you want to come on vacation. Just be mindful that these people are not just here to make you drinks and make you feel good, right? They have a lot of capacity beyond the little bit that they are often able to do. I feel that way when I go to places like Cuba too, and frankly, even in the US. I mean, I just did a video a minute ago. There are some fishermen out here, and I'll post that later. You'll get to see that one later. But I was thinking about, I was saying I had a conversation with someone recently about how, for example, in the US, we spend all this money getting, paying for visas and whatnot for software engineers and different developers, things like that, from India and from different places, different countries around the world, while meanwhile neglecting the people who are who are Americans, especially the black and brown children, and anybody. Poverty is a class, you know what I'm saying? And so like people just figure if you don't come from a certain background, then you get totally wiped off the slate in terms of being considered for certain things. And if if we began to put just a fraction even of what we spend on bringing other people that we believe as smarter, better, more educated, when maybe they're more educated, but more competent, if we took some of that and invested it in the people and the kids who are already there, imagine, right? Like I know Google and Apple and some of these places are beginning finally to invest in like HBCUs or, kids that wouldn't otherwise have opportunities. And you will see that once this happens, they're going to do amazing things. It happens all the time. But I just don't like when people come and they're rude or they are dismissive, frankly, of an entire culture at times, because everybody wants to partake of all the goodness that is here, of all of the beauty and the benefits, like I said, but I think that they discount what goes into it. What gets discounted often is the generational wisdom that comes through when people in places like this are preparing a meal for you in a way that you're like, oh my God, this food is so good, or are able to help you, not hurt yourself like you might do if you went swimming in the wrong place, or if you, behaved in this way. It's like they have a knowledge that comes from the wealth of wisdom that truly ancestors have provided for us. They've paved the way. And the difference, frankly, a lot of times is that people in these sort of, these kinds of cultures are very much aware of and in touch with the ancestral knowledge and wisdom that has been handed down. We are not dismissive of that, just like we're not typically dismissive of like God, spirituality, like you think about ancient civilizations, the Mayans, the Egyptians, all kinds of others who really paid attention to the stars, and that was like the first mathematics. How they build the pyramids? Well, they followed, the pattern of the stars, and when this hit, and that's why the shadows are cast in a certain way, and yada, 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 all that stuff. I don't know all about it, but like the Mayan calendar, how it is like precision timed to do whatever it does. And, there were cultures that came after that, Spaniards and others, who desecrated a lot of those temples. And there's this little lizard again. He just ate another worm, this guy. Okay, let me see if I can show you without scaring him away. Hold on. Oh! Did you see him run away? Did you guys see that guy? He's kind of the same color as the sand almost. Anyway, there are cultures that come after. They come to a place, they discover it, and they're like, oh, look, it's so beautiful. Oh, how amazing is everything. And then they mess it up because they want to put their own thing in here. So there's parts of, I believe it's like where the Mayans were, and there were temples, big, beautiful stone temples and pyramids and all kinds of things that were just ransacked and ruined. And a sunburn, I'll come back to that. And then they built like Catholic churches with the same stones on top of that, on top of what used to be like holy, ground for people. And, you can see what happens when cultures don't acknowledge, what is the word, or what's the thought here? When we are dismissive and disrespectful of other people. It's happening in the US right now. We've been dogging out people for a long, long time. In our lifetimes and in many lifetimes prior, it's been foretold that a lot of this stuff was going to happen because we ain't right. The U.S. goes in places and barges in and kicks doors down and bullies people and takes their stuff and takes their resources. And then you see how it implodes. You cannot keep ignoring people and trying to subjugate people and disregard them and take advantage and expect that it's going to keep on working. And so I'm not trying to get into all of that necessarily, but I am saying that applies too when you go to other places. And it could even be, it's not, again, I'm talking about black and brown cultures because I'm here and I'm noticing things here. But you could go, I went to Istanbul a couple summers ago. That's a magical ancient city. And, wherever you are in the world, just be kind, be thoughtful. Remember that you are a visitor there, you are a guest, and that you don't know best. You don't know. These people know. These people live here. They've been living here for a long time, and you may think, oh, but look at the conditions of their houses, look at how they live, and look at blah, blah, blah. And maybe it's different from where we came from. But guess what? Their communities are intact. They don't have to have all the money and all of the fancy this and that, but their families often are just ironclad, and they respect one another in ways that we have forgotten to a lot of the time in the US and other places. And so, like I said, there's a lot of wisdom in sort of how they live, what they offer. You know, they're not as wasteful as we are in some ways. Now, I will say for sure, in the DR in particular, definitely they need to, you know, there needs to be like, and they're working on this, like recycling and waste management, things like that. And absolutely the educational system needs to come up to give people the opportunities I'm talking about so that they can become engineers and professors and artists and whatever else they want to be that's going to impact their culture and society at large. But don't come from wherever and think that you know better and then try to make it that way. That's not nice. That's not nice. You wouldn't go to someone's house for dinner and tell them how they need to be serving the dinner. No, it's like you can be a guest and appreciate what it is, or you don't have to come. You can stay wherever you are and, you know, believe that you know better. If you know better, then prove it. Exactly. That's why I said it is a gentrification, and but it's more of like like I said, a mental or psychological gentrification, believing that you know better. I'm looking at some of your comments. And I will say this. So it's interesting because my son's school had an assignment, or I guess not an assignment, but like a unit of inquiry, we'll call it. This is maybe last semester sometime, where they were talking about gentrification and the pros and cons. Like, what do you notice? Well, it's easy to talk about the cons because we can go, oh, people come in and they barge in and they take over and they exploit the land and they buy it up for cheap and then they sell it for high, and then the people who were there before get displaced, and all those types of things we've seen for a long time, right? That happens all over. Colonialism, how people just take advantage. What are the upsides? Can you consider upsides of gentrification? Well, you know, there's some boutiques in town I like to shop at, and there are some nice restaurants there and all that type of stuff. And so, you know, the question I think then is, is there a way to have both? Is there, the money shot, Keith, you're funny. Is there a way to have both? Can you have people from other countries come to a place like this or wherever else you want to choose? Right, be a good guest, respect the land. Offer some opportunity to the people who are there. Don't just benefit, you know, if you have, let's say, a restaurant, some, you know, fabulous French or Italian or whatever kind of restaurant, and you're charging high prices, what are you paying the people who are making that delicious food? You know, usually the indigenous culture, right? The locals. How well are you paying the locals who are building you your dream house? How well are you treating the people, and maybe not even, treating them directly, but also even speaking of them? You know, when I first came here, I heard some people tell me, and these were, I think they were white Americans or something. They were talking about, oh, Dominicans, you know, what they need to do, they need to be saving. They don't think about, you know, tomorrow and their money and all that kind of stuff. They need to be thinking about, you know, that's the problem with them, essentially, was the message. And I'm thinking, and I was brand new, so I really hadn't checked out everything yet, but I was noticing the conversations that people were having. And it was like, well, you may have a 401k and an IRA and all that type stuff, but yeah, the average Dominican doesn't have that stuff. Does that mean that they're somehow stupid or they're missing out or it's a problem? They do tend to live day to day to day. But how many of us who have the 401ks and the retirement plan and all this stuff struggle to focus on the now, right? We instead of like relaxing like they do and sit around and enjoy your family for an afternoon, we put on an app called Calm or whatever to channel sounds of the ocean or birds chirping. You see what I'm saying? How many of us have to pay someone to help us slow down and enjoy this moment right now? And what is that worth? How valuable is that, as opposed to like, oh yeah, but we have a great house, and you know, there is a balance to be struck, I believe, because no, I don't want to give up my creature comforts. I like a granite countertop like anybody else, or, you know what I'm saying, it doesn't have to be granite, but you get my point. It's like, exactly, people need to learn how to blend in with their culture without trying to change it to fit their own needs. I think there's a happy medium. That's what I'm talking about. Be respectful, be caring, and be willing to learn. It's not all about you. It's not all about you. Yes, minimalist lifestyle. Here's the thing. I'm glad you brought that up. Who are you? Hostile. MGTOW. I don't know about that MGTOW thing. Anyway, that's a good point. Minimalism. You guys truly don't need all the stuff you have. I know a bunch of you have a closet full of clothes, and I'm guilty too. I have a lot of clothes, and I came here with not so many, but there's so many cute things, and I like to be cute. So I bought a bunch of stuff. But we don't need all that stuff. Out of the things I have in my closet, or the things you have in your closet, like how much of that stuff are we really wearing day to day? A small fraction. All those books you've collected, all those, whatever it is, plates in the kitchen, open up that closet, look in the garage. How much crap do you have? And really, how much are you using? We don't need it. I can tell you for certain, when I moved here, I had a suitcase, my son had a suitcase, and then we had one duffel bag that we just had extra stuff. That was it. I didn't miss a thing. I let go of like everything. And people at the time were like, oh my God, what are you doing? And you're crazy. And what about this? And what about that? And I think they thought I was a little bit bonkers to just leave the country. And I didn't know anybody when I came here, mind you. I did not know. And so some people said, oh, Kelly, you're a pioneer. You're the pioneer who came here first. And I was like, I don't think I would go that far. But I definitely kind of jumped out there without, knowing exactly what was what. But can I tell you, you don't really need more than like, depending upon the size of your family, 6 glasses, 8 glasses, maybe 10, a set of dishes or 2 to rotate. But you don't need all the rest of that stuff, 5, 6, 10 sets of bed sheets. How many sheets can you sleep on at a time? And so, yes, simplicity, minimalism is so valuable and so often overlooked. Peace of mind, right? So some of you guys know I'm doing an abundance group right now, and I just talked about decluttering your mental space. I mean, your physical space is one thing for sure, but also your mental space. When you have too much crap and you're trying to keep track of things, and it gets to be too much. Peace of mind is priceless. It really is. And so coming out here, like I've been here for a while now, I got in the water already, and I, did some like poking around, like I said, talking to the fishermen. I can't tell you how wonderful that makes me feel, as opposed to, having to go talk to my therapist, for example, and say, hey, help me, I'm full-time here. But I travel back and forth a lot. Help me figure out how to find peace. Go sit your ass in a park and don't say nothing. That's peace. Most people can't do that though. They're like, oh, I need to check my phone. I need to do this. I need to blah, blah. No, you don't. You need to be uncomfortable until you can get comfortable with peace. That's what you need to do. You need to stop talking. Note to self. Stop talking. Stop worrying about the next thing and the next thing and the next thing. Stop being so busy and be uncomfortable with that. Because a lot of times we have the TV on in the background. How many of you guys have the TV or something on in the background just to like keep you company and you like the background noise? Why? Why can't you just have quiet? Or why can't you notice what else you hear when that stuff is off? Whether it's your own voice, I'm at Bonita Beach, whether it's your own voice or the sounds of, maybe you hear your neighbors talking, maybe you hear a car outside, maybe you hear the birds, maybe you hear the wind in the trees. That's what you need to do. Exactly. I think I'm getting through to some people today. Let me say this about the quiet. As you see, I talk a lot, and I've been accused of having very long videos. Pardon me. But I do like to make a point or two. I have been feeling quite a bit lately, and when I say lately, I mean like for some months now, that I really, really just want to shut up. I want to be quiet. And there's this thing, you may have heard of it, called meditation, Vipassana. And there are places in the world where you can go, and it's like a silent 10-day retreat. I can't wait. I've been researching, like, where am I going to go? Which one? How can I get there? They don't cost anything. But to go and just be silent for 10 days, that to me feels like a dream. And I hear people say, oh, it's day 2 and day 6 that are the hardest. Because, when there's no one talking, it's like a vegetarian meal. It's very, very simplistic, very, very bare bones. No, it's not a spa day. It's not a spa vacation. It's like you just sit your ass down and meditate and be quiet. And you'll notice what starts to come up. And again, it's the discomfort. We don't want to, deal with either the boredom or the noise inside. And so we fill it up with, ESPN and Home Shopping Network and CNN and every other thing online and Facebook and Snapchat and blah, all that noise. But when you silence the noise from within starts to come up. But then if you can sit with it for long enough, it will subside. And that is where the peace is. So I'm really looking forward to getting there. I'm having trouble too, putting my phone down and, tuning out sometimes. But this helps me. So that's my message. Be culturally sensitive. Be culturally respectful. Don't come and expect people to challenge to rise up to what you think is the way it should be. No, you're here. How about you chill out? And how about you do things the way they want you to do it? Now, you want a money shot? Here it is. Oh, let me sit up. My back is all curved from bending up. Okay. So you see the people in the water? That's Dominicans doing what they do. They come with their families. They're out there drinking. I do hope they take their plastic cups and throw them away when they leave. Dominicans are notorious. Sorry, y'all, if you're Dominican, but you know it's true. For polluting. They will come to the beach. They'll have a great time with their friends and family, and they leave their trash here. It's not cool. That's not cool. Let's go get in the water real quick, and I'm gonna let you go. Okay. Let's go get wet. It's beautiful. It is a beautiful, beautiful day. The water is warm. It's not hot warm like July or August, but you know, you can just walk right in. Can't see, what does it say? Learning how to love me and then, exactly, love yourself first. And if you don't know yourself, how can you love yourself? If you're not willing to just be quiet and hear what yourself has to say. Coson, I'm close to Coson. I like Bonita better because it's gentler. Coson has bigger waves, not big waves. You can see there's not really big waves out here, but it tends to be a little more, what is it? It churns more at Coson. That could be because there's rocks out there. I don't know. But yeah, if you can't get quiet with yourself and hear what's inside of yourself, then what you gonna do? You know. All right, let's get in. Ooh, let's get in. Let's get wet. Oh! Ah, there you go. Oh, this feels so good. It's salty. That good healing salt. So that's it, you guys. Someone's gonna accuse me of having a too long video again. Yeah, the water's beautiful, isn't it? They're gonna say, why are your videos so long? Stop talking. You're rambling. I've been hearing a bunch of those questions. I mean, a bunch of those comments lately. I hear you people. I don't really care. But I'm gonna work on it. Today's not one of those days though. Okay, that's it. I hope you got the message. The tan. The tan? I've been here for some years now. Oh, you know what? My 3-year anniversary is coming up February 3rd, you guys. Mark your calendars. February 3rd, I'll be here for 3 years, exactly. So, you know, it's a little bit built in right now. It's baked in. All right. There it is. Hey, great day. Hotel. Write to me at freeislandgirl@gmail.com and I'll help you with a hotel. Yes, there's some hotels around here, but I will tell you where the best ones are. It's high season right now, so you can pay a little bit more. All right, so if you didn't hear the whole thing, go back and listen to it. Some good messages here. I got some wisdom for you today, people. Okay, let me watch out where I'm going. There's some rocks down here. I'm stepping on the rocks. Now my hands are wet. You know I love you. Bye, guys. freeislandgirl@gmail.com if you want information. Okay, ciao.